So, as most of you probably know, words are, if not actually a passion of mine, at least a very strong interest. I just enjoy playing around with ways to say things, with constructing words to see what you get when you put them together. I mean, for example, on my main channel, where I primarily discuss atheism, I came up with the word apistivist by taking the Greek word for faith and then sticking a at the front of it to say not, and then ist to say a person who. We come up with apistivist, someone who does not use faith, as a method of coming to conclusions. And I think that's a great word. A number of other people have started using it, and I think that's awesome. So there are a bunch of words, though, that have so much cultural baggage attached to them that the more technical, the more literal meanings based on the base word and the prefix and suffix it kind of gets lost. And as a result, there are not ways to express certain concepts, or at least not with a single word. For example, atheist. A lot of people assume that an atheist says there is no God, like it's the exact opposite of a theist. But a at the front of it just means not a theist, which means that the number of gods you believe in is 0, and it doesn't give any information about the strength or the reason for that non-belief. Again, agnostic. Gnosis means knowledge, and agnostic just doesn't know things by the most technical definitions of the speech particles that make up that word. But a lot of people have attached so much baggage to the word where they assume it means, for example, someone who says that the existence of a God is unknowable. Well, I mean, gnosis right away is just information. It says nothing at all about a God. And also, a gnosis means without knowledge. So without that cultural baggage, that word can be used in a rather more technical sense that honestly is far, far more useful. And a lot of us in the atheist community have started trying to force a change on these words for no reason other than to be better able to express our positions. Now, that's why I look at certain suffixes that again, have that baggage attached to them, that it makes communication difficult. For example, phobia. If you are arachnophobic, you're scared of spiders. If you are hydrophobic, you're scared of water. But if you're homophobic, you just don't like gay people. There's an aversion. Now, both of those are technically correct definitions of the phobe suffix, the phobia suffix, because it says a fear of or aversion to. Now, it also specifies abnormal or illogical fear or aversion, but even so, what if someone just looked at homosexuality and went, ooh, that's kind of icky? I mean, technically, they'd be homophobic, even if they didn't say, and thus deny them all their rights. It leaves us with very little way to express the difference between those two positions. And actually, I think that could be important, because there are probably people out there who find homosexuality weird or icky, but would still fight for the rights of equality. I'm sure those people exist. They have to. But if you called them homophobic, well, the cultural baggage would say they're bigots. And they wouldn't be if they're fighting for equality, now would they? So how do you express the difference between those concepts? It's kind of like with atheism. You can say there's strong and weak atheism. There's Gnostic and agnostic atheism, but people don't want to accept those qualifying adjectives to better, more accurately describe people's positions. They just want that one word and that one word only, and it means something specific, and you're not allowed to have another way to express, or you're not allowed to use it to express a more general umbrella cultural position on the matter. And that can really get in the way of communication. Now, another suffix like this is phile, meaning that you really like something, meaning that you have an affinity for something or an affection for it, that it's a high point in your life. Now, that is the technical and even medical definition that I found, but a lot of people will attach sex to that suffix, to the definition of what phile means. But again, it's context specific. If I tell someone I'm a bibliophile, I like books. I don't want to have sex with books. I just think books are awesome. If I tell someone that I'm an Anglophile, I think that English is awesome. But if you tell someone you're a pedophile, well, now they want to lock you up. Now they want to keep you away from kids. But what if you just have an affinity for childhood? What if you just think that children are awesome? I mean, you see a bunch of kids playing on a playground and they're engaging in innocent existence, and you think that's awesome, that's great. I think this is a wonderful part of the world, and I think it's awesome. And there's not a smidge of sexual connotation in there whatsoever. Maybe you think that your own childhood was great, and you never want to lose that you think the spirit of childhood is awesome. Maybe you still love cartoon shows. Maybe you still like to play pretend from time to time. I mean, goodness knows that a more adult version of pretend, or at least a more grown-up version, would be something like Dungeons and Dragons, or perhaps, say, paintball or laser tag or something. I mean, technically, these people are pedophiles, but if they say so, the cultural baggage is going to make people think that they want to go out and fuck a 5-year-old, and they don't. But there's no way to express that concept of thinking childhood is awesome with a word. It's just not there. And that's something that's always kind of bothered me, is when these words get taken over and it leaves us without ways to communicate certain things in speech. It's just very difficult. Anyway, like I say, words are, if not a passion, at least a strong interest. So that's my take on these particular suffixes.